Now, joining me in Hong Kong for more on this is Xi Ping, and he's the founder of the environmental non-governmental organization Greenovation Hub. So we just saw the story of one specific village in David Mackenzie's piece. How widespread is this problem?
Well, in the last few years, there have been more than 450 villages across China, which has been reported by media, said to be village with much higher cancer rates than background level.
Now, the government, though, is also admitting the existence of these cancer villages, right?
Yeah, well, earlier this year, there was a report from within the Ministry of Environmental Protection mentioned the term cancer village in official document for the first time.
So how do you read that? Is that a significant step?
Well, for any problem, the first step is to acknowledge that there is a problem to exist before we can effectively mobilize resources to address it.
So then what should be done to address it?
Well, it's important that the government look at how do we prevent pollution at source to promote industries in China to move towards clean production, to stop emitting cancer-causing chemicals into our air, our water, our land. But then even if we stopped pollution tomorrow, for our ecology, our ecological environment to restore its healthy states, it would take many, many years. So I think it's as important now to look at how we can help those villagers who are living in those unwelcoming environment. For example, according to the official figure, there are 298 million people in China not having access to safe drinking water. Even if tomorrow pollution will stop, we still need to figure out how do we provide safe drinking water to these people.
And we also heard one of the villagers say that it's really hard to determine who is actually doing the polluting. So if you can't pinpoint the source of it, as you say, then how do you stop it?
Well, it's a complicated situation. I mean, you may have village where in the nearby area there is one or a few factory, then it's easier to look at who should be responsible for the pollution and who should stop the pollution. But then you also have villages where they're, for instance, maybe located alongside the downstream of a river, and there are many, many hundreds or even thousands of workshops and factories upstream. And for those cases, it would be really difficult to look at where the problem, who caused the problem, where is the problem, and how to stop it. So the problem of cancer village in China is not a accidental situation. I mean, it is a result of the extensive mode of development, a development model where companies put their profits before the well-being of environment and future generations and current health of the people. In order to avoid these problems to further degenerate, it is important that we now look at the source of the problem, this very mode of development that puts people and the environment behind profits.
And is that likely to happen in your view?
Well, in recent years, there are signs that the top leaders are becoming more concerned and aware of the problem that China cannot go on business as usual. We just cannot keep on this unsustainable mode of production and consumption that fueled the economy in the last 30 years. That's why we hear a lot of saying about we need to build an ecological civilization, we need to uphold a new model of scientific development, so-called. All these new frameworks are signs of hope. But at the end of the day, it is important to see how local authorities and companies are being held accountable for implementing these policies. And at the end of the day, a more active green citizenry, a citizenship, a population of citizens who will be actively participating in environmental protection, starting from their own lifestyle. That is very important.
What could they do, the citizenry?
Well, one problem we look at, for example, in China is the urban municipal waste situation. I mean, waste come from everyone's household. This is, I mean, while we emphasize people's rights, environmental rights, we also need to highlight the responsibility that citizens have. I mean, everyone can start from their own daily life to consume less, to be more aware of the ecological footprints of their consumption and their behavior. And then, while we can be a greener citizens, we also, based on that, can ask our companies and governments to do the same, and you know, based on what we have already done ourselves.